And now, a math lesson. Let's say the Zaxby's chicken finger plate comes with 4, 5, or 6 hand-breaded fingers and 1 side of Zax sauce. Plus, you can try them with Zax sauce, honey mustard, hot honey mustard, tongue torch, teriyaki, wimpy, nuclear, barbecue ranch, sweet and spicy, insane. How many possible combinations does that make? Carry the 2 with a remainder... a lot. Zaxby's chicken finger plate. The sauceabilities are endless.
From Tally to Cali,
it's time to wake up!
Wake up! Wake up! WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up War Chant, presented by Zaxby's.
Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! Yeah, that's right. Aslan here. Corey will be joining us in probably about 30 seconds. Again, this is just a extension, the second part, if you will, of Renegade Express, which we recorded on Wednesday for Thursday's program. Again, it was such a long, quote, unquote, long show that I decided to break it up into 2 parts. Here is the second part of the Renegade Express mailbag. Take it away, guys. Old Dad's a Knoll. Wake up! It's been a while since I've ridden a pony, so I'll ask 2 questions if that's okay. First, curious, your thoughts so far on Adrian Crawford as the men's basketball color analyst.
Ooh, that's a hard one, only because I haven't listened to a second of him. I like Adrian Crawford. He knows the game, obviously. He's a former Florida State player. I always thought it was a little bizarre that Florida State's basketball analyst was a former football player and didn't play college basketball. And Keith Jones, we all love Keith Jones, but I always thought it was odd that a program, it'd be like North Carolina having, Dre Bly is their basketball commentator. Well, no, they have Eric Montross. They have a guy that played the sport at the college level. So I always thought that was a little odd. I'm sure he's doing I listened to a few of his games on TV the last few years when he would be the color analyst for like those ESPN3 games, and he was always very good. So I just trust that he's still doing a good job. But I have not been able to listen to him actually call a game.
Second, well, it's really not a question so much as a comment. I love you guys and your interactions with Daryl from North Carolina. I've been a fan since Jordan Woodham rotated as quarterback, but as much of a fan as I am, I can hear in his voice the guy's passion for FSU, and being in North Carolina, I doubt he has many other people to discuss the program with. So thank you for not only giving him a platform, but to be so kind in the way you two have exchanges with him. Cheers to a happy 2021 and go Noles. Signed, Old Dad.
Thanks, Old Dad. We appreciate that, man. I was thinking about that, like the next live show we do, or maybe just any show, when people write in, I think it'd be interesting because we get people from, obviously Atlanta, we get Daryl from North Carolina, we've got people from Missouri, Denver calling in. Like, how did y'all become Florida State fans? Like, what happened? Was it a game? Did you go to school there? Was it a game? Was it a team? I think that would be interesting because we got such an eclectic mix of people that call us or listen to this show. It'd be cool to interact with them. Obviously, we want to know famous people from your hometown, but obviously maybe how you became a Florida State fan. That's me throwing that out there.
No,
but yeah, Daryl's a pillar.
Yeah, we should have like a weekly topic. So if you call in, you have to answer that question before you get to ask your question to us. Perhaps.
Yeah, there you go. That's nice.
Souza_ZP. Wake up. If there was a trophy to be earned, Mike would get the transfer portal national title. Way to hit positions of need with a few left to spare. 2021, new year, new roster. Let's get after it for spring ball. P.S. Looking at houses in Tampa next month and can't wait to be back in the Sunshine State and have Doak rocking in the fall. You guys are the best in the biz. Thanks, Sosa. Thanks, Zach.
Amen to that.
Hope everything works out well. I too, am looking for houses. Maybe you can reach out to our guy Ryan at Home Financial Group. Maybe he can help you out. Get a nice mortgage. Rates are really low. But houses are getting sold in like 2 days, Zach. So if you like a house, you got to have to act quickly. And everybody stop overpaying for houses. You're pricing me out. It's pissing me off.
Well, they're helping the economy, though, Aslan. Yeah. And try to live as close to Dale Mabry as you can.
Nah, don't do that.
Oh, all right. I thought that was the nice part of Tampa.
Hey, come on. Why you got to punch down Atlanta? Punch down from Tampa, big Atlanta guy, Mr. ATL over here. All right, Drill Sergeant Porter, wake up! Happy New Year's. So is it me or have the big 3 Florida schools, and by the way, so yes, if Rivals has like Recruiter of the Year, what they usually give to like an assistant coach or something. If they had some sort of portal MVP or the portal prize like a Mike Norvell, I can't. Yeah, man, he's
well,
got
again,
me,
I know the lifeblood of Rivals and 247 and these sites is the high school recruiting. I get it, and it's very, very, very important. It's the lifeblood of a college football program. But man, we do, like, it is crazy that there isn't like a king of the transfer portal. Like, maybe it's just because
it's new though, right?
Yeah, it's so new. But I think moving forward, I think after like April, you could rank like the schools that have the best transfer classes, because that matters. It matters in the immediate more than I don't know what Miami's recruiting class was like in 2020. I know who the most important player was, and it didn't count towards their recruiting class. So I think moving forward, you got to start. The transfer needs its own like ranking, because it is important, very, very important, and it's going to be like this, I guess, for the rest of our lives.
Drill Sergeant Porter, so is it me, or have the big three Florida schools lost their it factor nationally? I mean, you have the Gators throwing shoes and their clown of a coach, Miami with their jewelry, and FSU with their finger wags, among other issues. I am confident that our coach can get us back to a business approach. Just food for thought. But hey, go Noles.
Yeah, it's probably.
I
don't know that it's
not a lot of charisma. Not a lot of charisma from the big three right now.
No, it's probably the worst stretch. I guess you'd say Florida's been the best. I guess Miami was ranked in the top 10 at one time this year, but we all knew what that was. Yeah. But Florida's been the best here lately, but even they were easily the best, I thought, the best team in the state this year. They lost 4 games with a terrible defense. So, that guy is a coach. So it's tenuous here in the state of Florida. Like, there isn't a clear cut like national championship contender for the first time in, what would you say, man, since consistently since the early, late 70s. Like, starting in 83, Miami, Florida, or Florida State was pretty much in contention for a national championship at least every other year. And we're talking about now since what? I guess Florida was sort of in contention this year, but I'm not going to give them that. So we're talking about since like 2014 or 15, since one of these schools has been a national contender. And again, it'll cycle back around, man. There's too much talent in this state. Alabama will not be stealing all these receivers forever. Clemson won't be getting all the running backs forever. Like, it'll cycle back around where these schools, as we all hope, Florida State, most among them, will become national contenders again. But yeah, it's a down time. Like, Florida's the best of the bunch, and like I said, they lost 4 games this year and had that crazy shoe incident and have a head coach that you just shake your head every time he makes a public comment.
I was going to, be like, what in the heck's going on here? They finished ranked 13th with 4 losses. I'm like, when's the last time someone finished that high and lost 4 freaking games?
Lost 3 in a row to end the season. Yeah, Florida State's the only team in the state that is on a winning streak.
Let's go.
So,
last year, Wisconsin finished 11th. They were 10-4.
Okay, all right.
I mean, come on.
So there you go. It happens, I guess. You got to pick. You got to put somebody there.
Yeah. Well, this is good though. I'm not complaining because I do think Mike Norvell's the more likable out of these 3 guys. I mean, I don't know what Manny Diaz. What's he got left to fire in his gun, man? I mean, what bullets does he have left in Miami and Florida? They're always going to be, that's always going to be a tough out because he's a good coach. But yeah. I just wonder. When it comes, like, when rubber meets the road for Dan Mullen, and listen, he was at Mississippi State, so he really wasn't built for success, but when he's had opportunities to really break through, his teams have found magnificent ways to blow it. So, I mean, he can maybe shake that, but I certainly enjoy seeing it happen. So I'm not too scared, but hopefully we catch up sooner than later. 3 dubs as we near the 1 hour mark of the program. Maybe try to hustle through the rest of these. Gentlemen, I'm looking at the portal acquisitions. I feel the heavy concentration being placed on the defensive side of the ball is due to the coaching staff knowing the defense cannot look like this next year and the full staff being retained. Also, we talk a lot about how some of these players didn't play up to their potential and recruiting ranking. Looking at Landon Dickerson, it's more obvious that guys just didn't get coached up worth a darn around here. Thoughts? Question mark.
Man. Yeah, look, man, I like Landon Dickerson. He was good at Florida State when he was healthy, which wasn't often, but he was good. We all thought he could be something if he would stay healthy. But look, man, I'm not insinuating anything. I'm not implying anything, or maybe I am. But you look at 2018 Landon Dickerson and what he looked like at this school, and then you look at what he looks like now. It is like he ate himself. It is like 2020 Landon Dickerson ate that 18 one or injected it into his. It's just impossible, the difference in body type. So I don't know that you can blame that on coaching. Like Greg Fry didn't get that Landon Dickerson. So they are doing a wonderful job at Alabama with strength and nutrition. But he looked. I don't know that he was good at Florida State. How good would he have been if he looked like that? I mean, they would have only needed 4 linemen. They didn't have to fill out the time. They could have. I mean, he counts for 2. He could have blocked the center and the tackle with each arm. So yeah, and it's awesome for him. He's probably going to have an NFL career. He's going to be a draft pick. He won a trophy and a ring, an individual trophy and a ring. Just but I don't want to give Greg Fry, who I guess was the last one to coach him, right?
Randy Clements had him for a few weeks. He was here spring 2019.
Yeah, that's right.
He was here spring 2019.
I don't want to give them too much grief for that, man. That wasn't the Landon Dickerson that they got to work with, and he stayed healthy until the final game of his last year. He stayed healthy, which he just had a hard time doing at Florida State.
Yeah,
but again, I'm not implying anything, right, Aslan?
I know you're not, but we all have fun with Alabama and how big all their human beings are relative to everybody else.
But he's the great test case, right? Because Alabama doesn't take transfer offensive linemen; they develop their own. Right. Like they get them as 17 or 18-year-olds. We see them when they're 20 after being in the system for a year and a half. Landon Dickerson was the only one I can remember, I might be wrong, that came from another big school, a school that kind of cares about football, and looked like a different human being 8 months later. So that is the great testament to what they do over there.
He was a guy that was injured, and I tweeted, I replied to Nubs Up, our buddy over in Panama City, who tweeted about the size of the girth of Dickerson when he was out there for the coin toss. And I'm like, man, I was out there in 2019 in spring. Like, you could see Landon Dickerson. He looked different than anybody else that played football for Florida State on the offensive line. And then that was like March 2019. We're pretty much 2 years from then. It's not like an absurd notion that if he would have stayed here, he would look somewhat like he looks like in an Alabama uniform. He had 2 more years of nutrition, 2 more years of strength training, maybe a full year of good, solid health. Like, yeah, he didn't leave here as a normal guy. I think somebody replied to me. He was like, yeah, because I'm like, he was a house here. He was a house. And he's like, yeah, he went from a house, but now he's a mountain.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he looks like, what's his name? Yeah, right. He looks like he could be in Game of Thrones in a trial by combat.
Random_John. Good morning, you esteemed gentlemen. Let's say the world does not fall apart in the next 8 days. Let's say this vaccine works out for everyone and we can go back to hugging each other after a dunk, home run, or that rare occurrence, an FSU touchdown. Random John's words, not mine. With this future of rainbows, puppies, and unicorns coming out of their caves, what do you feel it would take to positively wow you about our Noles in the coming season? If the doom and gloom continues, what would it take to marvel your minds at how much worse we got? Ooh.
If the defense somehow got worse.
If the defense doesn't get better. Yeah, that would actually, would that marvel me? Yeah, well, then, because like you're trading a whole bunch of people. You're putting a whole lot of new guys in new seats, new chairs, except for, the guy calling the shots. That if they're not better on defense, I know they possibly can't get worse. That's what we said after Harlan Barnett left, and then here we are now. They could get worse, but if they do not get better, I'll be a miserable person to listen to. More miserable than I already am right now.
Yeah, and now look, if they're winning games 48-44, it'll be more lighthearted.
Yeah, that's true.
If they can find a way to put up that many points, if they have to score that many points, I feel like we won't be okay with the defense, but we're not going to be all riled up. But yeah, if they're losing games, 50-17, or 56-30. it's not going to be fun times around here. And I would be surprised if it's that bad again. I just would be. I mean, I hope maybe this guy's an incredible defensive coordinator. We're going to get to see him and marvel at him. But yes, I would be wowed. Let me put it out to answer the question. I would be wowed if they were an average to decent defense. Okay. If they were just middle of the road, if they finished 56th, 54th, I would be wowed by that progression.
Huge jump.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would be a wow. And it's not like we're asking them to be top 10. We're not asking for spiked baseballs. And here's another shutout for you, Adam. But if they could get in just the middle of the road, just become like the 6th best ACC defense, that would be enough, I think, to probably wow me.
I did this study real quick, and unfortunately, it wasn't real quick. It took me a bunch of time, but it didn't flesh out anything that was definitive. But there's, I think, 12 first-year Power 5 coaches in 2020, as in their first year at their job. Like Boston College was 125th in total defense in 19. They jumped all the way up to 73rd. Okay? Colorado went from 104 to 77th. A lot of these guys went forward. But also a lot went backwards. I mean, Ole Miss was 85th in 2019. They dropped all the way to 127th. And DJ Durkin's still there. So, yeah, man, just if you could do that, that'd be nice, right? Like Jeff Hafley. Hafley? I can't even say his last name sometimes. Boston College, whatever.
Hafley. I think it was Hafley, yeah.
His first year, he inherited 125th. And then within 1 year and a COVID year, with all these challenges, they jumped all the way to 73rd. Do that. Do that. I think, I know middle of the road to you is like 50th. Like, be in the 70s. I'll give you a little bit more of a reachable barometer. I think that's fair.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be wowed by being in the 70s. I feel like if they're 54th, we might have a parade.
Yeah.
You'd be wowed by that. So, just be better. Just be better, guys. Just be better.
What do we think?
Significantly better.
What about offensively then? Is there anything offensively that would wow you? That's like, I don't know, being wowed is not being a practical exercise. We have to suspend a little bit of reality.
Averaging 35 to 40 points, I think, would be a wow factor. And I would not be stunned if they did that. I would be surprised because I'm still not totally sold on the skill on that offense. But I would, if they did something with in between, if they averaged 35 to 40 points per game, that would be definitely a wow-inducing, because that would be an enormous leap from whatever they averaged this year, which I think was like 22 or 23.
Yeah. Captain D_63. It's Daryl in Thomasville, North Carolina. Good morning, Corey and Aslan. I would say with the rash of players we have gotten from the transfer portal, that would bring our recruiting ranking up somewhere in the top 15, considering the players that we got, and that most, if not all, will play on Saturday. My question is, outside of Mackenzie Milton, who would you say would be our top recruit thus far, either portal or high school? Second question, are these players we got through the portal good enough to help get to 8 or 9 wins if Milton plays the jamie he executed at UCF? Okay. Well, Jermaine Johnson's who you said on the
Jermaine Johnson's the first one, yeah. Jamie Robinson is probably second on my list for that. Those two guys I think are your best. And that's funny when he said that. I don't know why that clicked with me, but when he said, are these guys good enough to play on Saturday? You always talk in recruiting classes about, are these guys good enough to play on Sunday? Well, the first thing you got to make sure of is if they're good enough to play on Saturday. Yeah. And I don't know about those 16 guys they signed from high school. I do know these transfers are. That's what, so again, that's why it almost matters more what you do in the portal for that 1 year, that first year, because we know that they're going to play on Saturdays. They're good enough in 2021 to play on Saturdays. We don't know if a single recruit from the 2021 class, high school recruit, is good enough to play on Saturdays in 2021. So that's a positive. And then, I would say obviously Johnson and Jamie Robinson, I think, are the two, along with Milton. And then, 8 wins. You go into a season when you're playing Clemson, Florida, Miami, and Notre Dame. You got to feel like 3 of those are probably certain losses, maybe all 4. That, look, Florida and Notre Dame have plenty of question marks going in. But you got to feel like you're going to be an underdog, a pretty substantial underdog, probably in all 4 of those games. So that if you won 8 games, that means you would win the rest. And that just seems unfeasible. Like you're not going to win every coin. You're not going to win 8 straight coin flips. I mean, I guess you could. That's happened before, but it's long odds. So, 8 wins would be a touch too much for me. But I think with a bowl game, 7 wins could do it. I think you could be 7-6. I think you can get to 6 wins in the regular season. You might upset, just like you did last year. You might upset one of those teams that you're supposed to lose to. And then if you beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and then you win half of your coin flip games, well, you're probably at 6 or 7 wins.
Looking to buy a home? Who isn't? First, though, you'll need someone in your corner, so turn to the experience and savvy of Home Financial Group. Home Financial Group offers products for any prospective buyer, whether FHA, VA, conventional, or commercial loan, and hard money for investors looking to generate wealth. Get a hold of Ryan. He's a Knoll, 954-358-9247, 954-358-9247, and his team can put together a fully documented pre-approval so you can search with total confidence. NMLS number 1314679, Sunrise, Florida. There we go. Cat Chaser. Wake up. We all know, this is a doozy. Buckle up, everybody. We all know the pay-for-play transfer portal, along with this one-time transfer rule, will change college football as we know it today. Here is a very likely possibility of what could happen that nobody is talking about. Here comes really long rhetorical exercise. So here we go. I'm going to try it so we can all do this together. Let's say the University of Texas has a 5-star commitment at linebacker. He does not sign in December, says he's committed, but plays the recruiting game. Texas, meanwhile, soft recruits a high 3-star linebacker that is not yet a take, but is on the hook just in case the aforementioned 5-star were to flip come February. 5-star signs, the 3-star is now left scrambling for a spot with an FCS school as other options have been filled. Who is to say that the University of Texas strikes some permanent deal with, say, Mercer or Texas State to be, quote, a farm team for certain players to develop for possible later transfer of these players who are then, quote, placed there, the University of Texas, within the next few years, depending on injury, transfer, attrition at Texas. Texas, the University of Texas, could fund smaller schools for coaching, facilities, etc., even place young and upcoming coaches there. They certainly have the cash to do so. This would financially benefit small schools, make it easier for Texas to fill needs if and when they are warranted. It would be less of a scramble to recruit the transfer portal. Thoughts on this possibility? We could do like a whole show on this.
Yeah, that's a lot. For some perspective, all the baseball teams back in the day, I don't think they do it as much anymore, but a lot of the college baseball teams would place guys in JUCOs for a year until they were ready to contribute. That would happen at Florida State a lot back in the day because of scholarship numbers crunch, roster crunch, guys leaving, going to be drafted the next year, all that. I would just think like, in theory, it makes sense. Like Florida State could use, I don't know, FAU as like a double-A team for its major league operation. Like it could be like, all right, you go there for a year or two, prove to us that you're good enough, and then I promise we'll come back and get you. But that takes a lot of trust from those high school kids, because I get if they're scrambling, but I wouldn't. I'm trying to think of a linebacker that's Texas caliber-ish that would struggle to find a home even if Texas spurned them. Because I think these guys are so, with good reason, so confident in their abilities. I don't think they want their lives dictated by another linebacker that the school wants more. So they would have a fallback plan that's like, okay, I'm going to go to TCU. TCU is going to take me. TCU would take a kid like that. But the theory of it, I mean, there's some validity to maybe using, a school like that. I don't know how much the kids would be a part of it, but I think the two schools would probably love the arrangement. I just don't know if the kid would be a part of it unless he got some sort of guarantee that he gets to be a part of Texas's team? Because would he turn down like a TCU to go to Stephen F. Austin? You know, that's a decision he'd have to make. So I guess in reality, what does it matter? Like, even if he doesn't like where he ends up for 6 months, he can get in the portal and go to TCU then if Texas says no thanks. But yeah, I mean, look, there's all these unintended consequences that come from something like this, and that could be one of them, that they might even have to come up with some sort of like if Alabama starts using Troy.
Well, they have the whole rule, the David Kelly rule, if you will. Well, even before David Kelly, I don't know, was it like the Gus Malzahn rule? Well, basically, like, you can't hire the high school coach of a player for a certain amount of years until after that kid is, like, committed to your program or whatever. So you can't do these sort of package deal things. So if Texas starts, if for some reason they have this sort of pipeline where all their assistant coaches start coming from, Sam Houston State, there'll be some sort of, I'm sure they can put some sort of inquiry and be like, yeah, you can't, your farm league team, there's some cahoots going on here. We're not going to allow this to happen.
But I mean, I could see schools, like, if there's a numbers crunch, telling a kid, look, we really like you. We just don't have any scholarships available. We don't have any.
Go play with Terry Bowden in Monroe.
Go to Louisiana Monroe for a year, and you can transfer to us next year when we lose 9 guys. And you have our word. You can transfer to us. Go there next year. But then what if the kid's terrible? What if he starts at Louisiana Monroe and has 8 tackles, and gets beat for 9 touchdowns? Like, that would be the problem. But yeah, I could foresee schools doing that. Like, look, I know we didn't take you right now, but go show out for a year, and we can have a spot for you. It's going to be easier for you to transfer to us than it will be for you to sign. It's like, I'll be honest with folks. Well, no, that's not true. I was going to say something that was not true, but I went to Georgia Southern.
I'll be honest with you, folks.
So I got into Georgia out of high school, which there's no way I could today. But I got into Georgia out of high school, but I went to Georgia Southern with my buddies anyway because they couldn't get in. And we did what you do at Georgia Southern for a couple years. Woo! And then they stopped being college students, and I transferred to Georgia. My one buddy, and my one buddy that couldn't get into Georgia at the time could then, because he had transfer credits and good grades at Georgia Southern, was able to transfer to Georgia. So maybe that's the possibility. That could be something that happens more. I think that's more realistic than maybe 2 schools working closely together as like a farm system. But I wouldn't be stunned if that happened either.
I would
thought-provoking question.
It really is. What you need to do with Brady is have Brady commit to Northwestern, have him go to Northwestern or Stanford, and then do like the reverse Lars Woodby. Like, go play 2-3 years at Stanford or Northwestern, get a degree
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Then transfer and just live it up at Florida State and win a national title and make out with a whole bunch of girls with potbellies.
Yeah. That's me and Brady. He writes down his daily journal, like his goals each day. And he's got one taped to his bedroom closet, and that's the main one, is make out with girls at Potbellies when he's 22.
Shoot for the sky, big guy.
Yep.
All right, last 2 questions. Gator 188, Gator Kirk. Let's go. Get on those ponies and ride. Thank you for all you do to make a difference in people's lives. Come on, relax now.
That's nice. Hey, man. Hey, you're welcome, Gator Kirk. You're welcome.
I know it's been discussed before, but is there any chance Adam Fuller is let go after National Signing Day if there is someone else available that would be better?
I mean, I just think, how many spots do they have? I understand the thought, because normally, like, if this was 5 years ago, I would understand, okay, if you're going to make a change, you can't do it now because, these kids want to know who they're playing for. But there's only, one more guy they might get on the defensive side of the ball in this recruiting class. So I think if you were going to make a change, it just, to me, it seems like it would have already been announced.
Yeah.
Like, it's been, when was that Duke game? A month ago. Like, it's been a month. What would be I wouldn't and National Signing Day was a month ago, the big one. So I would think that if they were going to make a change, they would have already done it. There is a chance, sure, but I think it's a small one.
Last one, Knowles MG4. Wake up! Good morning to the best podcast around. Happy New Year's, gentlemen. I'm very excited about what we are doing in the transfer portal, but this feels a lot like Coach Jimbo Fisher's last few years. Quality pieces at lots of positions, except defensive line and offensive line. makes me a little nervous moving into 2021, 2022. Thank you for all you do. It is greatly appreciated. I got Keir Thomas and Jermaine Johnson.
And Jermaine Johnson. You got a pass rusher.
But those guys are 1 year. They're 1 year dudes, though, man. They're gone. They're
understand that. Yeah, I understand that. So, you're going to be in this same boat again next year would be my thought. I don't think that you're expecting – unless now there is the chance that one of these guys that's on the roster takes a step, like actually becomes a good player at defensive end or defensive tackle. But you're probably going to be in this situation again next year where you're going to have to hope for some help from the transfer portal. But guess what? It's still going to be there. Mm-hmm. And if these two guys have good seasons, like what if Jermaine Johnson ends up with like 9.5 or 11 sacks and is an all-ACC performer? That's great for Florida State.
Yeah.
That's great. All Florida State fans should be hoping he has a monster season because of what it would mean to other guys in similar spots at other schools in the country that might want to come to Florida State for their year to shine. Now, again, you can't sustain that forever, but hopefully if you have a good year this year, then you start recruiting guys that come up through the system that you get for multiple years. How awesome would that be to have a guy that's good for a couple of seasons through the high school ranks that can help you? But yeah, the offensive line, I get it. Nothing there yet. I did see, Aslan, as we were recording this, that some big-time transfer from Tennessee, an offensive lineman from Tennessee who was a 4-star, 6.0 on the Rivals ranking, has put his name in the portal.
Okay.
So, hey, who knows? Maybe he's from Loganville, Georgia, which I would assume means he went to Grayson, which is a power in Georgia now. So, that's kind of close to Tallahassee, right? Just 5 hours away. So maybe that's an option, is that guy coming from Tennessee. So who knows, man? But yeah, they have not aided themselves on the offensive line. I think they will get one here sometime. But yeah, those are the two biggest positions of need. But I think they did okay on the defensive line.
Maury Smith's really young. They like Schrader. They like Robert Scott.
Yeah.
Dante Lucas is still just a sophomore. We'll see if he can turn things around. Zane Herring's a guy that we don't talk about because he got injured, from Madison County. Maybe a year, now that he's coming off his injury, maybe he will be a little bit perhaps in the mix. So it would help to have an offensive tackler. So, but it's not like they're going to just fall off a cliff here with their offensive line talent once Devontae Love-Taylor leaves. Darius Washington's another guy that, again, maybe another year or two of him getting stronger and more experience helps lead to more success. The defensive line, I think, is a little bit more concerning. Offensive line, I think they'll find a way. They'll figure ways to scheme around things. But yeah, defensive line, there's a little bit of concern there. But, hey, they needed a quarterback, I think. They got a quarterback. They needed a wide receiver. They went and got that. They needed a pass rusher. They went and got that. They haven't shown anything that makes you believe that they're oblivious to their problems or not going – they're not going to go get Alex Hornibrook when the house is burning down,
Yes,
so
correct.
Let's all have faith in that. Also, shout out to the baseball team. Schedule's been released. Season opener is against Pitt, and it's going to be at home February 26th. 36-game schedule, all ACC, all conference slate, 12 games, 12 series, 3-game sets. You know how the math goes.
Well, that's the ACC schedule. They will have non-conference games. I think that's just the ACC release schedule. They haven't released the midweek games
you're right.
yet.
Look at that. Thank you. What would I do without you? Yeah, I know Florida ain't ducking us. They better not be ducking us.
They might be. They don't want any part of that. They don't want any part of meat.
All right, we're done. We're done for the week on this podcast as well. But, hey, later today, 5 p.m., live pod, or not live pod, live show on YouTube, happy hour. What for will it be? Will it be Ira, Gene, Corey, and Michael Langston? Will it be Ira, Michael Langston, myself, and Corey? Who knows? I literally have no idea. So do tune in to find out. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up War Chant, presented by Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
WarChant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. WarChant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WarChant30. That's WarChant30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WarChant30. WarChant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.